Well, good evening and welcome, fellow babies. This is the Shills Pub Chat, where we sit down, relax, we get ourselves a couple of really cool people, and we dive in to what it is to be a YouTuber, a person, and somebody who's alive in this day and age, because holy God, have we got a hot topic for tonight. We've got some of the greatest people you're ever going to hear chat on a show, and as such, I'm going to hand it over right now to DeadKennedyInSpace to bring the rest of the panel on.
Hello, freak bitches. Hope everyone's doing okay today. It's been a hell of a year, and each day keeps getting crazier. So today's a good day to forget about the craziest of the crazy and talk about some normal level crazy. And with us tonight, well, I've always got to start with you, Dick. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. I was so conflicted going into this episode of Pub Chat about whether or not we should talk about this. I had no idea what to do. And when we all got together in the pre-show chat and we talked to OPT Lawyer himself about this issue, and he instantly had some references, some court cases. What are they called, OPT, when you have that precedent?
Precedents, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that we did have to at least address this before we go forward, but I'm hoping we're right, Kevin. I'm really hoping.
Oh, I'm sure we are. Being debunkers, I feel like we live on the edge of controversy at all times, so we'll be all right, I think. And also joining us tonight, let's see who else we've got. Blue Marble Science, how are you today, sir?
Doing well. How you doing, Kevin? Good to see you guys.
Well, thanks very much. Good to see you. Good to have you with us. How's everything doing on your end? How's Cavendish?
Cavendish is coming along. I've been able to put a little bit of time in on it the last few days. So I'm hoping by the end of the weekend, the experiment, the enclosure part of it will be pretty much done. Excellent. Then I can start working on the other parts and pieces. So we're getting there.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And producing tonight's show, we have Booleanenator himself. How are you today, sir?
I am well. I am enjoying this controversy we were talking about. Is going to be very interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. And welcome to our guest, OPT.
Hi.
Absolutely.
But I'm not entirely certain why you guys wanted me to come back, but hi.
That is crazy talk in our world. OPT, we had such great times together. We have to do this more and more, brother.
We did. We did. We had a great time with you last time, so you're definitely welcome back as often as you want to come, man. And turn it over to you as well. How's everything in your world?
Oh, the court's still moving despite the fact that we're all digital at the moment. It's going to be really sad when everything gets quote-unquote back to normal, because we've developed all of these ways to do all of these things remotely, and I feel like we're just going to stop doing it because, the court likes to have people present and whatnot, but, man, it's really convenient to be able to just sit down in your office and just, remote into a hearing or, a pre-trial or something like that.
Yeah.
But
right. The only person, OPT, who wouldn't like that is somebody that owns a 68 Camaro with a big block and they want to drive to that damn courthouse, right? That's it.
Now I'm curious though, OPT, because you're doing a lot of this from home. I imagine you're probably doing are you doing like Zoom meetings for certain things, so you still have to dress up and look nice, or can you sit in your office and be a slob?
The latter, actually. But since I'm a judicial staff attorney, so technically I go down to the courthouse and work for my judge, but since nobody's coming into the courthouse because, again, we're doing everything remotely, I've been showing up in jeans for the last 3-4 weeks.
Nice.
Nice. When I was working because they finally said, okay, if you guys can be distant and whatnot, you can actually come back. And thankfully, the staff attorney's office has like cubicles far enough apart that, plus no one else is there. There's one or two others who are there with me. But I've been going back for the last month because I just needed to. like working from home is so distracting. I'm actually getting stuff done now. Like, oh my god, I'm completing work.
Fair enough. Well, again, great to have you with us again, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, we have Aimee and Matt. How are you guys doing today?
We are doing great. We would have stayed in the call earlier, but Matt actually wanted to. Matthew, honey, I'm talking, honey. He wanted to watch a movie with me, so that was nice. So we watched a movie this afternoon. But I'm all excited about autism, how it went last week, and everything. So I'm really excited about that. We've got all kinds of awesome shows planned for you, so this will be good.
Excellent.
Yes. And we've got a super chat.
A Tattie-Bogle. No more super chats, Mr. Tatty. Mr. Tatty-Tail. Tattie-Bogle for £2. Oi, keep the nose down. I'm trying to sleep. Rolling on the floor lap. Can you stop saying emojis on the super chat?
He's fine.
Fine?
He's fine. Thanks.
You know, people, is it any wonder we're saving up right now to get Matthew his own microphone so he sounds just as good as mom and he has his own position, right? Gotta love this guy.
Plus, you won't have to crawl over me to read the super chat, too. That's going to be really nice.
That's not a bad bonus, is it? Especially when you're 4 foot nothing.
Exactly. And someone's starting to grow a little bit. So
I was going to say, he just had a teen boy birthday, this Monday? He's a growing boy.
Now.
He's probably already, he's bigger than you already, probably.
Yes. I think he's not growing overly fast, but he did pass me quite a while ago. So.
Yeah,
he did, didn't you?
Yeah, no, between our kids, it's my son who's the giant. Oh, man. My son just turned 13 and he's 5'10".
He's a foot taller than me.
That was me. That's when I had my growth spurt. I was 13. Boom. One summer, I gained a foot.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I did it the other way around, and hopefully my son does too, where we hit that top peak early and then slowed down. But I got a 13-year-old with a size 11 shoe, so I'm not overly hopeful right now. You know? Enough about this kind of stuff, though, because we got something real deep to dig into. So should I take us through this story to get us going?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so
Please.
Close to me, and this is very close to me, somewhat in my community, a few hours away, right? We had a family of color. I'm not actually sure if they're from like India, African descent, or whatever, but a visible minority. I'm sorry if I didn't say that the way you like it, but I didn't mean anything by it, so give me a break here. Now, they woke up with a rock in their living room and a broken window. So they call the police, right? Now, the police show up and they're like, hey, we got to get a report for the insurance company, blah, blah. And the police are like, no, you have to come out and see this. So the owners of the house come outside to find a swastika and like a painted cock and a few things like FU and blah, blah painted on their house. Right. And we're talking about a town of like 7,000 people here, fellow babies. Like, we're not used to this kind of crap. We have the land of rednecky big lifted trucks and blah, blah. But even still, we're not a bunch of assholes around. You know what I mean? So all hell broke loose. People did not like this. So the next day, the whole community banded together, and I'm talking about like 3 different towns over like a 3.5-hour drive through a valley. They all got together and did a huge anti-racism support parade for the family. Everybody drove by their house, honking the horns, and the family that were victimized started a GoFundMe, not for themselves, but for the community, so they could raise like an artwork or something to, try to end racism and make it public, right? This is how cool these people are, right? So during the parade of support where people were driving by their house, one guy, and I'll give you the criteria in a minute, but one guy held out a bandana, the one you tie around your head, like if you're Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses or something, right? He held out that, and it was the Confederate flag bandana, and he held it out his window and waved it while honking in this parade. Now, the mayor of this town is a black woman, African descent, and she lost her shit, right? She lost her shit. And the Canadian RCMP, our major police force, and the mayor, with help of a few good Samaritans in the community that had gash cams and stuff, they tracked this guy down. Now, he's from a province that's like, if you're in Europe, we're talking a country away. If you're in the United States, we're talking like 2 states away. It would take me 12 hours to drive to his home from where I live, right? Now, he had no idea what the parade was for. And he was just being a regular redneck, waving his little bandana and honking his horn, trying to show support for whatever was going on. Now, when they tracked him down, he was exasperated to find out what he had done, because to him, the Confederate flag isn't a sign of Confederacy and racism. It's the rebel flag, and it's come to mean redneck life in North America, where you're into big block engines and 4x4s and shirtless campfires with lots of beer, and there's
Dick,
nothing wrong with that, right?
Dick, I'm really sorry to interrupt, but is it worth saying, not just to him, that's a cross Canada thing. The Confederate flag does not have the same meaning in this country that it does in the States.
That's right. To us, it's a redneck, like I'm a gun-tooting, truck-driving motherfucker kind of thing, right? So he did not mean any harm. And the mayor took his apology to heart. They did not call his name out or anything, and they accepted his apology. But right after that happened, the mayor found out that Confederate flag bandana had been bought in a local dollar store, and she marched into town with the TV cameras rolling, demanded those Confederate flags be handed to her. She did offer to pay for them. I'm not going to, no way I'm taking that away, right? I'm going to do this story honest. But she and he said, no. We had already pulled them from the shelves. Here, you can have them. What did she do? She sat down in front of his store and cut them up and talked down about the man who sold the flags. Now, the story on the flags is when COVID hit, he ordered en masse as many bandanas as he could find through his suppliers, because people wanted to make face masks out of them. Now, he did get a bundle of Confederate flag ones, and he just, left them in the back room. But like a 15 or 16-year-old employee who did not understand what the significance was, especially in the day and age we're living in the last few months and stuff, put them on the shelf. Now, as soon as this all went down and there was a swastika on the family's home, he found them on the shelf and he made sure they were gone. And yet the mayor shamed him, but did not call out the guy who was the one who sparked the incident. So I ask you, the listening public, to talk about this.
All right.
Who's got something to say?
Well put. Well, before we started the show, OPT immediately had a case that he could compare it to, so I think we should go to him.
So in Ohio, we had Oberlin College was sued by a local bakery in the area, Gibson versus Oberlin College. So what happened in this case was an African-American student walked into Gibson's bakery and decided to try to steal a bottle of wine. The grandson of the owner of the bakery, and it's called a bakery, but it's actually more of a general store, saw this happening. If I understand the story correctly, it's been a little bit. Saw this happening, not only chased him out, but a altercation started with, I believe, the owner's grandson getting this would-be thief in a chokehold at one point. There was the person's friends came. It's kind of a big fight, but at the end of the day, the kids got arrested, and they ended up getting charged with what was it? Aggravated trespass. Regardless, what happened was the students from Oberlin College started protesting the store, calling them racists because they attacked this African American child, or that child, the student, whatnot. Well, the university, this is like either right next to or even on university property. The university had administrators, including like the vice president, show up to one of these protests, and they just didn't. They just, according to the vice president, we were just making sure the protests were like orderly and whatnot. But the fact is, it looked more like Oberlin College was supporting this kind of protest. The Oberlin College's like the student senate body passed a resolution demanding the college cut all ties with Gibson Bakery, which they were getting a lot of supplies from, one of their biggest contractors. And they did that for about 2 months or so, which financially damaged the bakery. And there's also something about how the students at the protests use the copy machines inside the student union or something like that to create their flyers and whatnot. But Gibson's Bakery ends up suing for libel, among other things, because they're like, we've been in this town forever. This is a generational family business, and we're now hurt because you let your students call us racist, and you didn't do anything about it, and you helped them do it. This went to trial, I want to say a couple of years ago, maybe. And the jury actually found in favor of Gibson's Bakery and awarded them $11 million in compensatory damages, $33 million in punitive damages. So
that's huge.
It's on appeal right now. Now, because of Ohio law and whatnot, that ended up getting reduced to 31 million-ish, something like that. But it is looked at right now as a kind of a big question mark for like First Amendment rights on college campuses, because Oberlin is obviously saying, well, we didn't do anything wrong. The students have free speech and whatnot. The other side is saying, no, you supported them, you helped them, you promoted them. So, it's an interesting legal battle. As I said, right now it's still on appeal. The Oberlin College just filed their appellate brief in June of this year. So, we are far off. And I would bet real money that regardless of how the 9th District rules, it's going to our state Supreme Court. I'd almost guarantee. Almost guarantee they would take it.
It would have to at that point. Blue, being an American citizen and stuff, there's no way the lower structure is going to deal with it. It has to go to the top, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. I don't know. It's so silly the way these things take place.
Mm-hmm.
It escalates for absolutely no good reason. Every situation like this that you run across, it seems to me could be handled in a lot more civilized manner on both sides.
Yes, I think if we could just take the grandstanding for the media and the posturing for the social media out of it, we could actually achieve something. But as long as we're concerned with our public persona, we're never going to get anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to add to that and say it's not just like, I think part of it is coming into these situations from an emotional point of view. Like, because things like that, incidents of legitimate racism, they get people riled up, understandably. but getting riled up makes you blind to other things. So I think, like every crime, these kinds of things need to be handled carefully so that we're looking at the whole situation and not just, looking at the red mist.
And
Well-
let's talk about a little bit of misplaced racism. Now, again, I know I'm skirting the line here, but please bear with me and just follow me through, okay? So, I'm a Canadian, born and raised, and I am a generational Canadian to the point where I have relatives in my family who were on the receiving end of the Underground Railroad, but I'm a white, non-minority. So do I take flack or do I get a pass? Like, where does this line come from? Because you can't do it visually, and we have to get past this, and we have to start looking at context and actual delivery when people do things to make sure that we are putting the right context into the situation.
Yeah, I think context, and there's way too much narrative driving in the public world anymore, like especially in mainstream media. It becomes a problem when they're trying to tell a specific story instead of just the story. There's
that damn word narrative, right?
I hate it. It's awful. But part of that is a lot of times these days when we talk about racism, people are always talking about it being ingrained into society, and American culture is one thing. I don't know. I'm not American. Like Dick said, I am a Canadian through and through. Fucking A right, bud. And I don't think that racism is nearly as ingrained into Canadian culture as it is in American, if it is in America.
No, it isn't. It isn't. But
my evidence
that
for
also
that,
holds true. Hold on. That also holds true for the northern states because of the way things went. Let's give credit here, right?
That's true. But the reason I say this, my sole piece of evidence on this is one day I was very drunk, wandering around downtown with a bunch of friends. We were all very, very drunk. And these two other very, very drunk guys came up to us and said, "Hey, we just saw these dudes post this on a telephone pole, and it was some kind of Nazi propaganda thing. It had a swastika on it." And we were like, "Dude, there's Nazis in Kingston?" And everyone just kind of got really confused for a second, and then all of us together kind of said, "So let's go find them and let's go kick their asses." And we spent the rest of the night trying to find and beat up these Nazi punks who we never actually ended up finding.
But still, what a worthy effort. I applaud you.
But I feel like that sums up the general Canadian's attitude towards racism. Nazi, let's go fight him.
Well, I mean, was it not a Canadian band who said Nazi punks, Nazi punks, Nazi punks, fuck off?
It was indeed.
Yes, thank you very much. So OPT. Now, when we've got somebody who should be well versed in law as a mayor stepping in and acting this way, I mean, there's got to be quite a few areas where this could backfire. Never mind the PR and stuff, but to sit outside a tax-paying, supporter of your shop and call them out that way, that's pretty rough stuff. Do you think maybe everybody's taking this a tad too far?
The standing outside, ripping them up and down talking the owner of the store, I think that's where we cross a line. If it hasn't been crossed already, like going to the store and figuring out the story, okay, that's a little weird, but whatever. More power to you. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
But now we're talking about you are actively disparaging or defaming a store owner who is not really a public figure. Just because he owns a store doesn't make him a public figure outright.
That's right.
So you're looking at a very potential defamation lawsuit at the very least, or something else along those lines. And I don't think the law is your area per se, but I don't think we call it here sovereign immunity is going to apply to reckless actions like that.
No, I have looked it up, OPT, and we do have something similar. And as far as I was able to figure it out, and I wish I would have sent you the papers ahead of time, but that's a lot to ask of a guest, right? You know what I mean? But as I looked into things, we have overstepped our bounds. And the other side of this coin is in the local press, I do have a lot of tabs posted in my thing, but on PubChat, we don't go into that thing, right? Mm-hmm. We're not going to start. This will not become a drama show. There's no way, right? We're not doing that. So, no. But there is a lot of letters of support from the local business community saying, wow, how dare you?
Yeah, the last thing you want to do as the lead political figure of any municipality, whether it be mayor, governor, whatever, the last thing you really want to do is piss off the businesses. Because they're kind of important to every city. And if you make it, and my city is very much so has this problem, if you make it very unpalatable for your business to be there, they won't be there. They will leave. So, yeah, if other businesses are coming out in support of this, the mayor is probably gonna wanna, relent, capitulate.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of campaign donations? It's the businesses that actually fulfill those. So right?
Yeah. I mean, forgetting that for just a moment, but yeah. Your support in the city is going to dry up. Not to mention if if you've got political party backing, they may start backing away from you too.
Speaking of which, so the Premier of British Columbia has shown support for the mayor of this town so far, but that was only in the first round of press relations, let's say, right? Okay. Now that there's been blowback, I can't wait to see, because that's not the way this game works, right?
No. Yeah, they'll come out suddenly with I didn't clearly understand what was going on, or I didn't get all the story, or after thinking about it, that's pretty bad. No, you said it was okay.
I want to say, I know I'm monopolizing a bit, people, so I'll shut up in a second, but I was looking on YouTube for content of monopolization, like things that are really slamming the headlines. And one of the things I noticed today that was big on YouTube, damn near trending, right, was Amber Heard walking into court with a big smug smile on her face, and Johnny Depp was walking into court today, and he was very somber, and yet for the last 4 days he has kicked her ass. So I would say that as far as I wish Keelah was here because she knows psychology well, but I'm guessing that that's not a good sign. That's just my guess.
I'm just gonna say that whole situation, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, is just all around messed up. But what it comes down to for me is, no matter what's going on in your marriage, you don't take a shit in the bed.
Yeah. I mean, for the love of God, if you've got problems, deal with them yourself. When they become the public's issue, you know that you have fucked up. You have screwed the pooch, and, literally your shit flap that, should be covered by your underwear is doing the talking now. So straighten out and fly right.
They have marriage counselors for a reason.
Yes. I mean, I gotta wonder, I don't know much about how their relationship developed, but if you know the history of any of the history of Johnny Depp, you gotta realize you're going into a difficult relationship because he's a difficult, weird guy.
The other side of that, Kevin, is his ex-wives are standing up going, yeah, he's a freak, but he's no wife beater. Like, seriously? You know, they're willing to call him out as a weirdo, but they're like, yeah, but, you know, he's a soft one. Like,
That's kind of the vibe I always got from him, is that he'd be a weirdo, but not a hateful, abusive weirdo.
No, you know, but I mean, I don't
my
follow
opinion,
this
you know.
stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Just remember,
Now-
it's pronounced egregious.
Now, I wanted to get into another legal discussion here because, you know, with OPT here, why don't we talk about a certain somebody's attempt to use the scholastic system to legalize a little bit of flat earth? Does everybody remember what I'm talking about here?
Are we talking about fucking Anthony fucking Riley, dumb fucking
yes.
year 2019,
Yes,
and his quote unquote
We are
thesis?
talking
Yeah,
about Sloppy and his thesis, yes.
I watched like every single video from you guys on that, by the way, and it hurt. It really hurt.
So,
I like
Big
this. I just
Blue-
got to read this comment from Face Gal in Fear and Loathing in the Wine Cellar.
Big Blue, do you want to give us a rundown on Riley's bullshit and how it came to be? Because I know you followed it really well.
Well, that particular aspect of it was just so absurd to me that I honestly didn't follow it very much. What I know, I mean, it's just it's disgusting pandering on Riley's part to garner a few bucks, and who knows what the hell he did with the money. But what was he attempting to do? He was trying to get he was writing a thesis, and I think the gist of it was that flat Earth should be taught in the school system, not just the globe. Isn't that basically what it was?
He was trying
Yeah,
to make
buddy.
a legal case for flat Earth in the education system, and he barely discussed any law in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he writes a thesis, and a number of his references were YouTube videos. I'm not sure that anybody has ever handed in a thesis before with citations that were fucking YouTube videos, for God's sake.
And a few of them were even his YouTube videos.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Blue,
I'm
can you imagine you cite yourself for a PhD thesis?
Well, that's exactly the way Riley does things. Though he'll make some outrageous, incredibly stupid statement early on in the conversation, and then if you wait about 10 minutes, he will be referring to it as, the fact that. All of a sudden, he just reifies that into reality. It's ridiculous the way the guy behaves. But as far as I know, his thesis was summarily rejected, pretty much out of hand.
Right.
I don't know if he redid it, resubmitted it, or what's going on. I do know his GoFundMe is still active. He's still collecting money.
Mm-hmm. It's still active, and he hasn't. See, here's the thing, right? To my understanding, the definition of a scam in terms of a GoFundMe is if you were garnering money for something that you knew wasn't going to happen. And the question becomes whether or not Riley knew that his thesis would be rejected. And here's the thing. Just because it doesn't have a title page, and for no other reason, it would be rejected not only at my college, but at my high school. Immediately, it would be like, your formatting's wrong, fix it.
Oh, yeah. It probably got rejected offhand without even having a proper title page in the first place.
Right. That's what they would have done at my school, was like, if you didn't have a title page, it immediately got handed back to you and said, no, you need to follow the format, all of the format.
It was clearly just a scam on Riley's part.
Yeah, I mean,
Feels like it.
back in school, had I tried to hand in something like that during grade 10 science just because I was trying to slip something in, I would have been laughed out of the room. And I was a long-haired rock and roller. I was damn near close to that anyway, but it actually worked out for me. Not for him, but for me. Damn it.
I've had briefs, like legal briefs, filed with the Court of Appeals, rejected by the Court of Appeals because I accidentally put a case citation in a footnote.
Oh, wow.
And the local rule's like, you shall not use case citations and footnotes. In fact, I don't really like using footnotes at all, but they're like, no case citations and footnotes. And I accidentally put one in because it was like a side point, like an illustration of the point I had been making. And I didn't think about it. And about a month after I file it, I get this order saying, oh, you haven't complied with the rule. Your brief is stricken from the record. Fix it. I'm like,
yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm like, one thing? You couldn't just be like, it's one whatever? Like, holy crap, guys.
It's kind of like programming. You got one comma in the wrong spot, and the whole program is just like, I don't know what to do.
Either that or it does the exact opposite of what you expect.
Yeah. And I gotta ask, OPT, are you familiar at all with the case that was the basis of his paper?
Not quite.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've even heard about it, so.
It was the Dimmock v. Secretary of State for Education and Skills from 2007. And it was a father who was upset that I think his two children were being shown a copy of An Inconvenient Truth to teach them about climate change. And the father argued that the film was too political and not focused primarily on the facts in order to argue that it shouldn't be taught in school. Mm-hmm. And I think what the judge ended up saying, well, the movie does have a political slant to it, yes, but it is grounded in fact, and it should be taught as long as it's also taught that there is a political leading to it.
Yeah, I can see that. As long as you're upfront about the fact that it has a bias, political bias towards one way or the other, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a film by a politician. Of course, it's going to have a political bias to it.
That's very true.
And what I found interesting was Riley somehow took that case and said the heliocentric model is overtly political because it affects all of the world. I don't really get it.
Yeah. I remember that part that he was trying to say that the shape of the earth is somehow a political matter. Like, you don't know what that word means if that's what you think.
I'm certain gravity is not a force is in there somewhere.
And that's the best part of the paper, is that it just turns into a lecture of all of the standard flat earth points that have all been debunked. And it's like, wait, this is supposed to be a law thesis.
Mm-hmm. And here's the funniest part about it is how it's political. There's politicians in the world arena that can't agree on any fucking thing. Kim Jong-un and practically every other politician besides Trump don't agree on shit, right? And they all agree the Earth is round. Even Kim Jong-un.
North Korea has a space program.
Right. They all know.
Allegedly.
They all know it's round. They know. They don't think. They don't agree. They know.
Yeah. Though, in a strange sort of way, I sort of agree with Riley. They probably ought to teach flat Earth in school, but in this manner, it should be taught that if you run across somebody that believes it's bullshit, you should hunt them down on the playground, beat the living crap out of them, and then do it again so they won't ever forget about
it. Well, I had a similar thought when I did a video about Fuckwit Word, and he had this little wire model of the flat Earth, and he was saying that this should be taught in school alongside the globe. And I was like, no, that's ridiculous. But a bunch of people in my comments were like, no, we absolutely should do this because I'm pretty sure any child could take a look at this model and go, this doesn't make any sense. And then it could help them learn more about the globe when they learn why it can't be flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, face
makes
it.
sense to me.
That's kind of what Professor Dave did, right? Like he did his astrology series and then like did a bit on the flat Earth as to show like kind of wrap all of his lessons together, and then crap hit the fan after that.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. What were you saying, Big Blue?
Sorry.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, forgot.
I'm sorry.
Apparently, what really important. Oh shit! What was I going to say?
At least you're playing PubChat properly. He's drunk, folks, and he's not really sure. So that's exactly what we're looking for.
There you go.
As my mother would say, it must have been a lie. That was her big thing. But yeah, so
what about the Poe argument? Okay, so tonight, earlier today, we had AB Science debating. What's that guy? I'm trying to suck my own dick, but my backbone won't let me because it's too fucking rubbery. Oh, Spurgismo, that's his name.
Oh, God.
Yes, that's it. So now
who many already suspect is a Poe.
Oh, that's what I was just going into, Kevin. Thank you very much. That son of a bitch is smart enough to draw the goalpost into a new position every time he's confronted, and he knows where to put the goalpost. As such, I am calling Poe right now. Son of a bitch, fuck you, step down, next. Poe.
He's absolutely a Poe, and I'm gonna draw a comparison with someone who wants to debate me. Pardon me, and we will eventually debate, and it's going to be hilarious. His big thing is space is fake.
God.
Everything NASA does is fake, and he likes to talk about the shuttle, and I love the shuttle. So he'll always say like, "Oh, why is there no single angle all the way through the launch?" And I'm like, okay, here's the camera attached to the solid rocket booster of Endeavour's last launch. Well, it's not pointing up towards the sky, so we can't tell what's going on. Here's the one on the other side of the booster that's pointing up. Well, that's not all the way to orbit because that's the solid booster. Okay, here's the one on the external tank. Well, I can't see the astronauts, so I don't know. Well, here's one from the cockpit. Well, why aren't they holding any cameras? And it's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, where does it end? Are you kidding me? You know, when the coyote ran off the cliff, he was fucking doomed. It didn't matter if he hovered for 5 seconds, moron.
Oh, and then they'll say because you didn't go up to space yourself, you can't prove anything.
Right. Yeah, and it's what is it? It's like 560 something people and counting at this point. Like, how many does it have to be before it's enough?
And let's look at the scientific method. A couple of people do an experiment and they go, bam, look what we discovered. A few other people read the results and go, really? We're going to peer review that. They do it and they go, bam, same thing. Wow. You know what? You might be onto something. A couple other people peer review it. Boom. Looking great. Why can we not apply that to the Apollo missions, you dumbass fucks?
Well, I really like the way the conspiracy cats put it to Spurs today. And when he addressed the scientific method, and he said basically, paraphrasing, he said, you know, what you guys are doing is exactly the way we teach the scientific method to 11-year-olds. he said, he says basically, he said, Spurs, you know, I'm happy to know that you have mastered the same material that we teach to 11-year-olds.
Yeah,
but
that was
amazing. As you get a little bit older, things get a whole hell of a lot more complicated.
The amazing thing with Spurs was during that he did not catch the reference at all.
I know it. It went right over his head. Right over his head. Oh wow.
Yeah. Poor son of a bitch. I mean, if everybody had to take the time to do every experiment that's ever been done, we would be building pyramids at this point still. Seriously, no offense, but I like the ability to, record and go live on YouTube, and I don't want to drag stones for the rest of my life. So
Dick,
I'll take progress
I
for 100, please, Alex.
Dick, I honestly don't know that we'd be at the point of pyramids. I think we because every person would have to start with inventing fire and agriculture,
Does it continue to get warm if I rub the two sticks together? Does it keep getting warm if I rub the two sticks together?
In a person's lifetime, you're only ever going to reach a certain point, and I don't think it's going to be anywhere near the pyramids.
No, it's just like Einstein with the pictures of the shoulders he was standing on, coming up with the theories of relativity, both standard and please fill in the word for me. Thank you very much. Yeah. And as such, he knew he was standing on the shoulders of giants. So why in fuck would he go back and try to redo their experiments when others had already done them and gone, yep, that works. Okay, good. Let's move on. You fucking moron.
Well, it's part of the big problem with the conspiracy in general is that the whole us versus them mentality that they have, that's not how science works. Science is the collective effort of humanity.
Spurs even said it tonight. He went, well, you already come in with your preconceived notion and try to prove it. Oh, no, that's called a hypothesis, you fucking moron.
Yeah, tell me, name a hypothesis that is not a preconceived notion. How could you be anything other than that?
Why would you do an experiment if you didn't have an idea about what the outcome would be in the first place?
Right? Jesus Christ, please help me out here, people. Right? Yeah. Why would anybody just go, you know what? I'm going to randomly mix these chemicals because I'm a fucking 15th century alchemist and I'm willing to risk my eyeballs. No, we smartened up, moron.
Yeah, those are the guys that end up with nicknames like Stumpy and Winky and stuff like that. No, if you do it the way they want to do it, honest to God, we're all going to be hunting tomorrow's evening meal with a stick. That's where you would go back to. I mean, you got to club the damn thing to death with a big rock or something. What the hell?
And instead of a fry pan or a baking tray, you'd be wrapping that fucking meat around a stick and hovering around a campfire. Yeah, you go back to those days, Mr. Ancient Aliens. Meanwhile, I'll accept the fact that bronze tools can be sharpened. We can cut stone, and as such, you're a moron.
Oh, fuck that. I'll live in the world where commercial space travel is right around the corner.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's a really... Oh, I'm sorry, Amy. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. No, it's okay. I was just going to say, I saw a really good comment from TP Seeker who made a good, comment on this. He said, I keep saying they're trying to drag us back to the Dark Ages where the Bible answered all questions. And that sounds about right.
And that's the big problem I have with them is in the real world... Space is the final frontier. It's where we're putting a lot of effort because that's where we're going to make a lot of progress. Mm-hmm. And in the flat Earth world, there is no progress. Things don't change. Things don't get better. Things don't improve. It's just everything stops. And you're like, if I were to tomorrow realize that I was inside of God's magic snow globe, I would have a fucking existential crisis because I would be like, what is the point of any of this?
Yeah, I would lose my shit because seriously, all I have to do is follow the rules. Well, I might as well be dumb AI because that's all I am. I'm Cortana now.
I'd be like, look, Alanis, you and I need to have a talk. Come on.
That's the best world ever. The Viewist universe in which Alanis Morissette is God.
Yes.
Oh God. Hey, you listen to the song "Ironic." Nothing she says is ironic. Do you know the definition of the word? She's Canadian, so it really hurts me to say this, but
Dick.
you're a dumbass.
Dick, you know what you'd really enjoy? There was an old college humor sketch called Metaphor Free Radio. And it was this guy who he turned to a radio station, and suddenly all of the songs had lyrics changed so that there were no metaphors. And the only one I can think of an example now is pretty rough. Prepare yourselves for this. It was Clapton, and the lyrics went, "Would you know my name if you hadn't fallen out of that 53rd story window?" And then at one point, as he's going through the songs, he comes to an Alanis Morissette song, and all the lyrics are the same.
Well, they'd have to be, right?
They're already metaphor free.
Yeah. If it wasn't for her boyfriend at the time, there would be no album. But anyway, enough slamming Canadians. We did make maple syrup. We'll move on.
And I'll give her this. I did love her as God in Dogma. She was great.
That wasn't bad. I'll give her that. But that's Kevin Smith, not her. So let's make that clear.
Yeah, but there's a certain amount of effort the talent has to put in.
Yeah, sure. She didn't get high that day. So, all right. No, I shouldn't say that.
You're talking about a movie where Jason Mewes was on the set, and you're going to make fun of Alanis Morissette?
She did walk up to the... all she did was walk up to the guy and boop his nose, for fuck's sake.
And I think at one point, doesn't she open her mouth, and they can't do the sound because you can't hear the voice of God?
I don't know. I lost what you said as soon as you said she opened her mouth. But I'm thinking at this point, we have to turn the tables to something else.
We do. Golgotha shit demon.
Jesus Christ, I'm sorry I brought it up, Dick.
Well, if anybody's going to ruin it, it's going to be me. I'm sorry. But that's just how I roll, baby. We should get back onto the legal track, though, because we have had some other issues in the legal realm of YouTube lately. Now, we ourselves on the EiE Network, and especially the Shills, we have been struck en masse by people who are, how do I put this without calling them out? All right,
of a less than
fucking
favorable
assholes who disagree with the shit that we put out, and that's because they're woo peddling motherfuckers who deserve to lick their own fucking shit. That's what I meant to say. Yes, thank you. Okay, I got it.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I just wasn't sure there, I had to get that out, right?
Yeah.
But we've got some serious copyright infringement, especially in the realm of fair use going on YouTube right now. And if I have to call anybody out, and because I made my living in this industry for a while, I'm sad to say it, it's the music industry that are the real bitches right now. And damn it, it is pissing me off.
Yeah, everyone I've gotten, by the way, Dick, every I'm sorry, I'll try that in English. Every copyright strike I've gotten has been about the music.
Yeah, and that's not cool.
And invariably, it's not a hard strike, All they want is all the revenue from the video.
That's right, which is actually worse than a takedown, isn't it, Blue?
Which pisses me the fuck off to the point that I just go and demonetize the damn thing. If I can't get the money, they can't get the money. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Well, here's
them.
Here's the thing, like YouTube's copyright system. Tom Scott, you familiar with Tom Scott?
Not personally.
I am. Keep going, Boo.
I was thinking Dick here, because Dick and I have a lot of the same interests when it comes to YouTube. He did a recent video about YouTube's copyright system isn't broken. It's the world's laws that are, basically. And they're antique laws. They're built for a time when we didn't have this instant access to every damn song in existence, for example, and could just copy it and put it in our own videos. and transformative work and stuff like that. And how long does a copyright on music last? Well, it lasts the lifetime of the artist plus 70 years. Well, that's an insane amount of time to wait to use someone else's music without their permission. In today's day and age, I'm sorry, but it is.
Especially, like, imagine if you're doing a show and you're doing, why is this song still at the top of the charts? And you're going to sit down and analyze it as musicians, as recording artists, as, sound engineers and so on. And you're going to really dive deep, and you're going to take like a 4-minute song tops, because we're talking about FM radio, people, right? And you're going to dive into it on a 20-minute fucking episode. How can you possibly be at fault for promoting them? Not that I get pissed off about this, but fuck you. It's still fair use, is it not? Right?
I think so.
But because, and I'm going out on a limb here now, and if I'm the bad guy, well then, I'll take it. But it's because YouTube has YouTube Music, and if you're going to use music, you better fucking pay.
Yep. Yep.
I have a super chat if that's okay.
Quick one. Digital Demonic Davados for Australian $2. Stop sending super chats, mister.
No.
Please. Sorry. Said sorry.
That's right. Thank you very much.
What are you sorry for?
Digital Demonic Davros is a very close friend of mine, and he's talking to probably the core Shills specifically, and that's all cool. We love you, brother.
So copyright is not exactly something I've ever really delved into all too often, but I keep running into one small little problem with exporting some of my Twitch streams to YouTube. Somebody made a cover of the Legend of Zelda for the NES, is like overworld theme, the iconic overworld theme of Legend of Zelda. Yeah, exactly. Someone made a quote-unquote cover of that, which sounds pretty much like the original, so much so that when you're playing the game, YouTube and Twitch will both mute your VODs because, it's like a content ID match kind of thing with this guy who has absolutely nothing to do with Nintendo.
And yeah, that's the amazing thing, is that you get struck by that and not struck by Nintendo.
Yeah.
Well, who actually have really annoying laws regarding their games being played on the internet.
Right. And keep in mind, the content ID system is actually the Band-Aid that lets us use half the shit we do use, because all it does is say, okay, that belongs to this person, they get the money, and yeah, it's inconvenient, Dick, but it beats getting it beats getting sued the pants off of and having to spend a bunch of money to defend yourself or taking it out anyway.
That's right. It's such a fucking evil duality, isn't it?
And like when we upload VODs from like the Zelda 1 randomizer tournaments we do on Randomania, like we have to appeal every single one of those, and every single time this is not his song. Like, this is not their song. And it gets reversed, but the fact is you have to actually take time to do that.
Yeah, and that's the thing that, like, it's not so much a problem anymore, but this used to be the problem for me. Was I would upload my videos, they'd get demonetized, I'd request a review, and it would get remonetized after basically 99% of the views had come in.
That's what happens, and it happened to me too, lots of times.
Yeah, and it becomes, what's the point? You've lost literally all of your income.
Right, yeah. Because people are going to want to watch your stuff the moment it comes out.
Right. And I mean, of course, there's some people who rewatch videos. There's some people who will watch them upon first coming upon the channel, but it's such a small fraction of them.
No, you'll get the majority the views in the first
48
72
hours, probably. Yeah.
48 to 72, something like that. And it always took YouTube, every time I had to appeal one of them, it would take them 2 or 3 days.
Oh, yeah. We know the appeal process well on this channel. I mean, we've literally had to appeal 70% of the Shills episodes, right? But damn near we win most of them, don't we, guys? You know, that's not cool. And the real deal is, you know, let's look at this from the reality situation. You know, you're sitting at home on your couch in front of your TV, and you're going to watch some adult television because you're actually an adult, right? And as such, the stuff that we put on YouTube, you know, calling flat earthers fucking shit flap talking motherfuckers who should literally, you know, stick their dicks in their own mouths and fucking blow off because then we wouldn't have to hear it, right? That kind of shit should not be that bad because literally listen to what they're peddling. What the hell?
Yeah.
I'm still convinced most flat earthers don't actually believe it anyway.
I'm convinced that at least the big ones don't. Like Dubé, like Oakley.
Dubé's a Poe.
Yeah.
Dubé's a Poe. I do think he actually is a Nazi, though. I think that's real.
I do too, because why would you want to be thought of as that much of an asshole? Excuse me, but yeah,
he's way too passionate about it, and he can't you can't exactly monetize being a Nazi on YouTube. So it's like, why bother if you're not gonna profit from it unless you really believe it?
Yeah, he's an absolute piece of shit that should have been flushed down the toilet with that sickly thing I did last week when I wasn't feeling well. Fuck that fucking fuck.
Yep, I've said it before, and I won't say it this time because I don't want to. Oh, screw it. I'll say it again. I wouldn't mind if Dubé was chucked into a furnace located somewhere in East Germany.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, dude, if I was driving down the road in the United States and I saw a fucking roadkill raccoon, I would pick it up and keep it in my car. And I would drive to his house and I would seriously face fuck him with it just for being an absolute piece of shit, puddling his fucking woo. Fuck you.
Always with the animals. Usually
I just got to do it, buddy.
that roadkill.
Dick has some of the most creative uses for roadkill.
I feel another appeal coming on. I feel another appeal.
Demonetized. Yeah, I don't get it with Dubé, especially because I have so many people who still come to me and use Dubé as a source for their rebuttals to me, and I'm always like, you know, he's like a full-on Nazi, right? Like, I'm not saying that like an SJW calling someone a Nazi. I mean, he literally supports Hitler. He wrote the article, "The Truth About Adolf Hitler" by Eric Dubé.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, it's awful. It's
oh my god, I had gotten up to get a beer, and I've been jumping to get back to the microphone to say how unbelievably true what DeadKennedyInSpace is saying.
It's
this
bad.
This guy is literally Himmler walking the earth.
The article tries to paint Hitler as just like a patriot who is trying to save his country, but also paints Jewish people as the reason Germany was failing.
What?
Yeah, it's bad.
It's horrific bullshit.
It sounds like it. Jeez.
I would love to say to everybody that's still watching the show, because we have touched some seriously deep topics. You people kick ass. Holy shit. We love you guys, man.
So, I don't know if you guys want to get to something lighter now that you've mentioned that. We have a bit of a situation in Ohio. FBI just arrested the Speaker of our of the House for a $60 million bribery scam. It's kind of a lot.
So should
Wow,
should I say oops or oh shit or what should we be saying here? Like
That
what's
is
the
some
scoop?
fucked
What's
up
the scoop?
shit, man.
It is some fucked up shit. What's going on?
Well, so
That's way messed up.
well, right now he's accused of him and his staff are accused of taking bribes from what used to be First Energy. I forget what their name is now. We in Ohio passed a what we call House Bill 6. It was a bailout for the 2 nuclear power plants we've got here. Turns out, one of the speaker, the leading force behind House Bill 6, is taking bribes to get it passed. Which is kind of a problem, especially when the governor signed it, and now it's coming out that it was probably not done legally.
You think? Oh, wow, baby.
$60 million. That's kind of a thing, you know.
That's the kind of thing that is like a serious, the villain just did everybody over in the 1960s Spider-Man. Like that's the kind of thing the Rhino just did to the city. That's huge.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. And here's the thing: having worked in the criminal justice system for as long as I have, I can tell you, when the feds file something, they've done their homework. I'm not going to say that they always get they always get everything, but they don't like wasting their time. So if they're filing charges, they normally have the affidavit for this complaint was 80 pages long.
Length of a short novel, Jesus.
Pretty much. I've not admittedly not read it, but I downloaded it with the intent of skimming through it at some point. I've been reading all the media and not reports, and just it's weird because that bill passing through was actually not very popular in the state of Ohio in the first place amongst the people, and it passed anyway. And now we're all looking at I see. I don't think people are nearly as surprised as we probably should be.
I will agree with that 100% because that should be some shocking bullshit, right, OPT?
Yeah. I mean, we weren't. Don't get me wrong. It was shocking when the news came out, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, that's surprising. But considering I live in a city in which 4 of its city council members just got arrested for bribery charges as well, maybe I'm just getting used to it.
And this is 2020 as well. You got to remember. I mean, I'm still waiting for the frogs. I haven't seen them yet, but apparently they're locusts other places. So, yeah. so it's actually not as shocking as it should be. I think we're getting desensitized to all the shocking stuff that's going on. So, yeah. Also, I have a super chat. Maddie's right here to read it, honey. You ready?
Matthew!
Digital demonic dabbles frustrating $5. Stop sending stop sending super chats, mister. Said, the song of my people.
Here he goes. Okay, yep, we're gonna get struck. Okay.
Yes, OPM censored demonetized. Moderator.
Yeah, and I remember that reference because that's from QE from debate he was having. Moderator.
yeah, that was awesome. Oh,
I just want to point out. I just want to point out a comment from Face Gallon that I'm sorry to go back to this topic. I'll drop it right afterwards. Face Gallon said he's been linking any flatards that he comes across to the lyrics in Eric Dubé's rap songs. That's a much more succinct way to do it than linking them the article about Hitler, because the songs sum it up perfectly. This is a quote from a song by Eric Dubé.
Oh, God.
The Earth's fucking flat, Holocaust denied, Hitler was cool and not a bad guy.
Oh, okay. If you can, okay, here, I'm putting a call out to the viewers right now. Y'all know me. I do the songs on Canadian Thomas channel, you know, the flurfer, funny songs and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. You write me a fucking response to that human piece of shit. That guy who speaks through his asshole like it's his fucking lips. And I swear I will sing that song if you write it properly. Bring it on.
Oh, there needs to be way more rap responses to Eric Dubé. How is that not a thing?
I mean,
You know what? I got a buddy who's like a really big aspiring rapper. I'm going to get him to make
Let's
one.
do this. Let's
Yeah.
do this.
I mean, that's not like, for putting aside the content, that's not even a good lyric in the first place.
No, it's not.
Ah,
No, you're not wrong, OPT. That's some bullshit right there,
Yeah.
isn't it?
it's crappy writing, and it's obviously just horrific content. So
Yeah.
ugh.
It's all of the phrasing is very much set up just so that it'll rhyme.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like the ultimate sign of a bad rap. Like like look at Eminem songs. He doesn't even make rhyming verses. He just stops each line at a point where he can make it sound like it kind of rhymes.
He's
But,
more
yeah.
interested in the story than he is the rhyme, right?
Yeah.
He's
Right.
not a poet. He's a storyteller, right? I mean,
Yeah.
basically, you could equate Eminem to somebody like Jim Croce because it's the same dude, just a different music style.
I was thinking almost like what's his name? The times they are a changing.
Bob Dylan, yeah.
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan
Uh,
wishes he was Jim Croce, but yeah, you got the right idea.
In the sense that like you don't listen to a Bob Dylan song for incredible amounts of talent or show offiness. You listen to it for the story.
Yeah, that's
And it's
right.
telling
You
the
listen to the basics of the song. You do not listen to the virtuosity of the playing because, well, you've come to the wrong place.
Now you brought up Jim Croce, and I got
Jim-
moving me down
Jim
the highway.
Croce.
Moving me
Come
down
on,
the
Jim
highway.
Croce is one of the best rock and rollers the world has ever seen, and he's also underrated. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, I
He
swear to
is.
God, you're
He
just not
is.
that cool in my eyes anymore.
He
So-
is. He's incredible. He's him and Arlo Guthrie. Oh my God.
Oh
Yep.
my God. Oh, Guthrie
Very
is
underrated.
just the man. Wow.
Yep.
See, you never know what's coming on Pub Chat, right, people? I gotta shut up.
I'm too young for this conversation.
And see, that's why I shut up.
And I'm sitting here thinking I'm too old for this conversation.
Yeah, and I know I'm too old for it.
Yeah, see, okay. Let's take this into Thin Lizzy and give these guys some real rock and roll, babies. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yep.
Oh yeah. You all think that what was that oh, you know what? I can't even bring myself to say it because Metallica covered it and it just pisses me off. Yeah, I'm going to shut up now cuz I'm just going to get mad. You know, we were talking about legal stuff for a bit there, and we were talking about Mr. Piss in the Glass trying to shove it through the scholastic environment as if it was going to be law. There is an unbelievable chasm between scientific proof and scholastic teaching, and he has no idea, right? He doesn't get it.
Right. Yeah. He's probably of the idea that the second a scientist discovers something and it's like there's an article written about it, suddenly that's in the textbooks.
Right,
And
we
that's
were
not how
looking
it
at
works.
20 years back in my day, right?
Right. I was taught that dinosaurs didn't have feathers. We know for a fact now that's incorrect.
Yes.
It wasn't a 1 year thing like one curriculum had them teach had it doesn't it happens gradually is what I'm saying.
It does.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean that the old information was bad. It just means that we got more information. And it's so hard
yeah.
to get through other people's heads that that's all it is. It's nothing.
I mean,
bad.
It's so simple. It's so simple. Let's look at polar bears, okay? Let's look at polar bears. Now, you've got an ice age that kicks in, and it brings the polar caps down through the North Americas. Now, you've got grizzly bears, brown bears, and black bears and stuff, and they, in the winter environment, stand out like a sore thumb. Hunting is not going well for them. But one of them has a mutation that gives them the white fur. And holy fuck, is that a hunting advantage. So now you've got this bear that knows how to hunt in water and stuff, which the Arctic seems to have, right? But he's got a white coat and he's kicking ass and taking names. So when he goes to do, the spreading of the seed, we're going to play with the YouTube, we're going to try to not piss off YouTube because they're fucking assholes, right? And what we're going to, well, you know me, right? It was coming. And so, we've got this bear with a genetic mutation that has like a white fur. Now, when he's during the ice age, he's got a serious hunting advantage. So you guarantee his sperm is going to spread, right? It's going all over the place. And his offspring are loving life because they are white like the Arctic and they are kicking ass and taking names. Why is that so fucking hard to understand? All you have to do is have a mutation. Now, you could have a mutation that goes south, and you could have, some black bear that has, a mohawk haircut. I don't fucking know, but it doesn't work out very well for evolution. And as such, his children do not propagate and do well in life. But the bear who had the genetic mutation that gave him white fur, now that cat is styling, right? He's rocking and rolling, and his seed is spread all over the place because everywhere you go, it's white, and therefore his fucking genetic material is being spread like wildfire. As such, you have evolution in a nutshell. Argue me that, you son of a bitch.
I just got to say, it took me until about 3/4 of the way through that to realize that you were making a point about evolution.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about like the education system and the rate at which it changes, but I guess you were more just making a point about like, why is evolution so hard to understand? Look, here's how it happens. Bueller.
Did we lose Dick?
Whoops, I was muted.
Bueller.
No, sorry, I was muted.
Damn it. What we're doing is we're talking about the fact that it takes more than one lifespan to record the information needed to confirm the hypothesis and make a scientific theory.
Well, not even just that. Like for instance, Feel Jesus in You likes to go on about how NASA managed to control like one photon, sort of, and that hasn't yet redefined our understanding of light because it's a small step in a very big process. So we're not going to be teaching that NASA can control light in the schools anytime soon.
Yes, well done. Well done.
Once in a while you do have a true black swan moment. And that feathered dinosaur was one of them, right? Until you find one that had feathers, dinosaurs don't have feathers.
Optioctrix.
So, yeah, but all of a sudden, something changed because now you've got hard evidence that says you were wrong. They actually did have feathers. But that's not usually the way things work, not in science. It takes time. You don't just have an instantaneous breakthrough that says, oh, Jesus,
of course.
How about that?
Look at the predator versus scavenger debate regarding the T-Rex. part of the reason that took so long is because there was one paleontologist who was so set on the idea that it was a scavenger that he became like a flat earther of the paleontology community.
Yes.
Spreading debunked points about the Tyrannosaurus. And meanwhile, you've got a guy going, hey, look, this Tyrannosaurus tooth fits perfectly in this wound of a Triceratops.
Yes. Right?
And it's a big tooth, and it can tear shit up as opposed to crush it. It's kind of funny.
Yes.
Yes. When you've got a situation where the logic, and we're not talking about armchair logic. We're not talking about ancient aliens. I'm just going to sit on the couch and go, yeah, that andesite was too hard to carve with copper and blah, blah. Fuck you. No, we're talking about real archaeology. When you put it together, it actually makes sense. But you have to have the educational background to follow along and make sure that it makes sense to you. Because as soon as you lose the plot, you become Giorgio Tsoukalos.
Aliens. Not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
Aliens, yeah.
I hate that crap. It drives me crazy, Kevin. It drives me absolutely crazy when these stupid son of a bitches step up and declare that the humanity was not smart enough or skilled enough to drag something heavy with ropes along a fucking... Oh, I get so mad. I get so mad.
My favorite thing, have you seen recent articles about how believing in ancient aliens actually makes you racist?
Wait, what?
Whoa.
Because, we live in that society. Everything is racist, right? But it's the same general idea. The claim is that if you believe in ancient aliens, you believe that other cultures were too ignorant to figure this stuff out. And I don't think it's a race thing. I think it's them just going, well, no, older people were just not as advanced as us.
Yeah, I mean,
and they can't understand how advanced you can be without being post-industrial.
well, I think there was a time in the 70s during archaeology where we didn't give the Mesopotamian, the Southern Americans and stuff enough credit. And there was a time when the powers that be that were doing the speaking weren't really sharing the wealth or the that's a loose phrase, but you know what I'm saying here? Like they weren't giving credit where credit is due, right? And this whole thing with the ancient aliens, I got to get into this, okay? If you give 5 children that are 2 years old a huge pile of blocks and say, I want you on this carpet to build me the tallest structure you can without it falling over. Now, it's on carpet, so you're going to walk around to make that carpet unstable. Do you not think that one of those kids would come up with a fucking pyramid because it is the absolute most stable way to stack blocks, you fucking morons?
I don't know, man. Kids be dumb. Has anyone seen that video of that standard moral test that they use for like self-driving cars? Like there's 3 older people on this track, but there's 2 children on this track, and the car has to hit one of them. Which one do you do? There's this wonderful video of someone doing that with like toys to his kid, and the kid takes the people from one path and puts them on the other one and then rams the car through everybody. Like the one answer that nobody would have come up with.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's
actually,
like the... I was thinking that's a lot like the AI argument for autonomous cars. So
yeah,
you're in an autonomous car and you're coming around a left-hand turn, and crossing the street is a couple of teachers with some young school children going to the park. So you can't you can't take them out, right? But you're fucked. You're going too fast, right? So now on the left-hand side, you can't crash into the buildings because there's a couple of old people walking by and you got walkers and stuff, right? But on your right, there is a cavern, like a ravine that you could fall into. So you're driving your autonomous car around this corner. The car looks at the situation and goes, you know what? My occupants are the one that has to go. And it fucks you off over the corner and kills your ass. I'm not really sure I'm willing for that, because as somebody who went to like an auto racing school and I really know how to use the brake pedal and the steering and stuff to, drive a car at its limits, I would rather the chance of saving myself and everybody else than just being pitched for dead.
That's fair. I would hope that by the time autonomous cars are like a commonplace reality, we would have that crazy foam that they use in Demolition Man, so that if you do go over the ravine, you get covered in protective foam and you're fine anyway. You just got to fix the car.
Well, you start throwing Dick scenario in with the big red button scenario. You got yourself Terminators,
That's
man. Right?
Yeah. Do we want them to go by Asimov's law of robotics? Is that a good idea?
Oh, I'll say this. They make sense back in the day, but in the complex of modern society, I don't think they're deep enough, and we're fucked.
I don't know if they ever made sense, because that was like, when they were written, it was so that he could write a novel about how these laws can be problematic.
Yes, yeah. And it really fit the narrative because it gave all the rules needed to stay within the structure of the story, did it not?
Yeah. I think actually the only time that Asimov's laws worked out was in the movie Bicentennial Man, because there's a scene in the beginning of that where the Robin Williams robot explains the rules by which he lives, and they're Asimov's laws, and there's never a point where he decides that humanity needs to die because of those rules. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen Bicentennial Man, that's a great fucking movie. Watch it.
We have to do a pub chat coming up specifically on B grade level sci-fi movies that kick ass. Do we not?
One show, because I could talk about that for.
I was gonna say that could be a very long process.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a hold of a OPT lawyer, and we're gonna turn that into a series of show B grade movies that you should have seen. Right? You heard it here first. That's what we're doing, fellow babies.
I mean, here's the thing. I've not only seen B grade movies, like I've seen movies that were shot for literally $400. and enjoyed them.
Kevin, I've been in a few of those as a rock and roller in Vancouver and then through the States and stuff. We would get asked by local film producers, hey, you were the band last night. Do you guys want to be the band for our movie? Yeah, sure. What's it going to cost? We give you $200 and free drinks. Yep, we're in. I've been in quite a few of those, to be honest, like 4 or 5.
DKG says he's worked on those films.
Yeah, but DKG, if you're watching in the chat right now, this is a man who holds an Emmy. So do not be fooled by that bullshit. This man is a serious go-getter. Holy.
You know what he needs to do now, because like just because that thing exists of David Mitchell saying, I killed a rat with my BAFTA. The DKG needs to have like a phrase or something that's like, I don't know, I killed a flurf with my Emmy.
I love it.
That would be awesome.
Speaking of kill the flurf, we're hitting 90 minutes here, gentlemen, and ladies and gentlemen, and as such, I think we should get the wrap up into the show into it. Kevin, you want to take us around, buddy?
Oh, I guess. Let's see here. Let's start with the guest of the hour, OPT lawyer. What did you think of the nonsense we've discussed today?
It's fun. It's just cool to hang out and chat with people. But I like the fact that it's just kind of a stream of consciousness kind of thing. So yeah, it was fun. I had a great time, and thank you guys for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Again, it was very good to have you, man.
Thanks.
You know
And
what,
let's see.
Kevin, sorry, I got to interrupt you here. Stream of consciousness, that was an amazing description. OPT, you are an absolute steadfast member of PubChat. We are doing this.
Thanks, guys.
All right, fair enough. I actually kind of love that term, stream of consciousness, because there was a while when I was really big into stream of consciousness, like meta writing, but then I realized I'm not quite smart enough for that.
Are you kidding me? You
Oh, we lost you.
don't give me that. You own it.
We lost you there for a second.
Yeah.
Damn it, again? Really? Ah.
It goes, yeah, and it cut right off.
Yeah.
Weird.
I'm trying to remember the really big stream of consciousness writer that everyone always goes to when they think of stream of consciousness. Now I can't fucking remember his name. Anyway, we'll go back to going through the people here. Big Blue, how you doing, man? What did you think of tonight?
Oh, it was very, very entertaining, I thought. I want to circle back to the beginning because I still have something I needed to say. Everybody get over this thing with the Confederate flag. We need to have the Confederate flag, and we need to let people buy those things, the ones that want them, and they need to display them prominently. And I'll tell you why. Because that makes it easy to identify who the assholes are.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more with that.
100%.
Yep.
Fair point. Very well said. Bull, Bull, what did you think of tonight?
The whole what stuck out to me tonight was this whole trying to put backwards information into the educational system. Like Riley won Dumb Fuck of the Year this year, and I might be able to talk Reds into letting him win twice because fuck me. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude! Like, the problem, it'll never pass. It's never gonna happen. Let's be fair. But at the
You earned it, motherfucker.
you earned it. You earned it. You really did. So Riley, Dumb Fuck of the Year 2020, maybe.
I really don't want him to win again. But yeah, it may be doomed to happen. Aimee and Matthew, what did you guys think of tonight?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I agree. I have to agree with what Blue said there. You got to know who the assholes are, and you can't find them if you don't allow them to display their stupidity. Because here in the States, it kind of has just basically one meaning. It means asshole. But anyway, but everything else, awesome. Eric Dubay is a complete piece of shit. Poop. Sorry. Because Matt might. Oh, he didn't hear me. Woo. So yeah, and he's just nothing but garbage. And I just got sent a link too, so that'll be good to look over. He's got the links links to his nasty songs about Hitler and everything. Yeah, and I guess that's pretty much it. And I just want to thank OPT for coming on. Thank you once again. And thank you to everyone in the chat for coming tonight, too. We appreciate you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It was a
And,
lot of fun.
I just want to point out I did finally find it. The stream of consciousness poet I was thinking of was Allen Ginsberg. Wrote a wonderful poem called Howl.
Oh, Ginsburg. Now it makes a lot of sense. Oh, I love it.
I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical, naked. Great poem, Howl. So, Dick, did you want to take us out?
I will do that. Absolutely, positively. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Shills Pub Chat. We've touched on a few touchy, topics. I think we've covered them well, and we have definitely brought you to them in the way that we wanted to. I want to say a big thank you to Blue Marble Science, DeadKennedyInSpace, OPT Lawyer, our big guest of the evening, Aimee Hogan and her son Matt, and myself, Dick Dawson. This is the Shills Pub Chat, and we're coming at you with this.
Bull.
Yeah, oh, good one, good one, good one. It's that damn. He's got to do the Tatty thing and bring in his own account in. It catches me every time. Right?
Get me a new device.
We want to tell you, people. We stand up for what is absolutely right. We will talk about the touchy issues, and damn right we will dissect them, because you know what? We're the right people for it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're the Shills. Blue Marble Science sitting in because he is absolutely positively the right man for the job. Let's say good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.